tapping into the true potential of the human spirit. This is Humanity Empowered. This is The Implicit Show. Hello. What is up? Welcome to The Implicit Show. My name is Bren Dubé. I'm your host for today. And today we're doing something special. It's Q&A Tuesday. You guys know what that means. It basically means all day long, I'm going to be taking your questions all day. I say all day, but this is about a half-hour podcast. I'll be taking your questions on self-love and confidence. And first off, I got to say thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys are in here, I know Rachel Johnson's in here, my friend, my dear friend. Andrea Rain's in here, I'm sure. And we got all sorts of fun people. And today, the topic is self-love and confidence. So let me tell you a little bit about my journey with self-love and confidence. So I've not always been the most self-loving or confident person. In fact, growing up, that was something I struggled with a lot, was confidence. And so, oftentimes I was that shy kid who, I didn't really have much to say unless it was in class and we were joking, because I was the class clown. That was my time, man. That was my stage. It was like the teacher would say something and I was always that kid who had, the smart ass remark. Those were good times. Those were great. But anyways, hey, we got Shelby in here. What is up, Home Slice? I love that. I love that nickname. Anyways, other than how I was acting in school, outside recess and with the other kids and stuff, I wasn't really all that outgoing or fun or playful in my elementary school years. And, when I was at home life was pretty good. It was all right, but I really just spent a lot of time playing video games. So, I was really cut off from people, cut off from society, because I was always in my own world. I was either, into my cartoons, or I was into my video games, or I was into hockey, or whatever I was into at the time. But, as I was growing up, becoming a teenager, that's when things got a little more complicated, I guess. Grade 9, I don't know if you guys have ever felt this, but it's like, grade 8, and you feel like you're the king of the world. You're in elementary school, you're the oldest kid in the school, and it's a pretty good time. It was a pretty good time for me anyways. And then next thing it's grade 9, and now you're in this whole new environment, your whole new school. There's people who are 4 years older than you, and so it's a little bit intimidating, it's a little bit daunting. And so I felt even less confident in myself, because I was in this new environment around these new people who I didn't know, and it was just a weird environment for me. And not to mention, when you're in grade 9, you're not treated very well, are you? Right? If you know what I'm talking about, in our culture, the Niners get picked on a lot, right? They're always getting picked on, man. Hey, you're new, let's mess with you a little bit. And that's another way that kind of messes with your confidence. So, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, Shelby's got a comment here. She says, you better like that name, because that's what I call you all the time. And that blender. Okay, yeah, I totally love it, Shelby. Anyways, so how did I kind of get to find a level of self-love and confidence for myself? And again, guys, I'm not perfect. I struggle like this on a day-to-day basis. With self-love sometimes, with self-confidence, sometimes I beat myself up. That's my vice. That's my area of improvement, is I got to have more self-love and more compassion for myself. So, but really where I started to improve, where things started to change for me, was when, I was transitioning from a teenager to an adult, and I really found my passion in music. And so that was an area that I felt confident in. Like, I'm telling you guys, I was so shy in school. And I remember I had a science teacher, the one day, and he's like, man, that kid is so shy. I never see him talk to anybody. He never comes up and talks to me. He's so shy. But when he picks up that guitar and he gets on stage, that kid goes crazy. And it was true. I mean, it was funny because I would, play music with my buddies in private. And then we had an opportunity to play at the school talent show. And I took that opportunity to go freaking crazy, because it's my passion. Music was my passion. So it's like, I finally had somewhere where I could shine. I had somewhere where I felt confident too. And why did I feel confident in music? First of all, was because I spent so much time in that area. Where does confidence come from, guys? Confidence comes from work, right? Confidence comes from make small wins. Sometimes just making your bed in the morning, brushing your teeth, and taking a shower is a win, and that'll give you confidence, right? Sometimes reading a book, sometimes saying hello to a stranger and putting a smile on your face, and gesturing some love or saying thank you. Sometimes that's a win. Sometimes that builds confidence, right? Anyways, we got a question here from Rachel Johnson. She says, how would I do self-care for myself care with my youngest son? I think what she's trying to say is she wants to she wants to really have more self-confidence and more self-love and care for herself, but she's also caring and she's caring for a kid, right? And so this is a question we get from a lot of parents, or a lot of people who, have another person to take care of, a caretaker, or they are a caretaker, right? They often find like, okay, I know that self-love comes from taking time for me. I know that self-love comes from, focusing on doing what I love and caring about myself and spending time with myself. That's how self-love comes about, right? But oftentimes, when you're a parent, you have no choice but to put your child first. You have no choice, right? That's how human beings survive, man, right? If our parents didn't put our needs before their needs, we simply wouldn't be here, right? Because a baby cannot survive on its own. A baby cannot just come out into the world and then just, hey, all of a sudden, I got it all figured out. I can climb that tree and eat some bananas and I know how to make fire. No, baby doesn't know nothing. They don't know how to communicate, right? They're taught by us. And so I think it's important, if you're a parent or a caretaker, somebody, anybody, it's really important to take care of whoever it is that you need to take care of first. All right. Because we always say, take care of you first. You come first. It's important for you to be, your number one priority. But when you're a parent, obviously, I'm not a parent. I don't know this feeling, but I know from what I've seen, I know from what I've researched, I know from how my parents, raised me, they put my needs ahead of their own. And so that's why I had a great childhood and I loved life. And also this will give you confidence too, because hey, when you love your kid and your kid loves you and you guys are taking care of each other, there's love that comes out. There's self-love. There's pride that comes from, hey, I'm raising my child and I'm doing a great job. But at the same time, there's always going to be time for you, Rachel. There's always going to be time for you to either you wake up a little bit earlier before your kids get out of bed. Maybe it's after your kids go to bed, you spend some time for yourself. Maybe it's on your lunch break at work. Whatever it is, there's always going to be a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, if you're lucky, right? Time for yourself that you could take to do something you love to do. Maybe you love reading. Boom. Take that 15 minutes out of your day to love reading. It's going to change everything for you. Maybe you love exercise. You just want to get into meditation, or you just want to watch a funny TV show, something that brings joy to your life and makes you smile. Boom, right? Find the time for you to do that for yourself. Otherwise, you're going to get burnout. You're going to run out of energy and you're not going to be able to take care of anybody, not your kids, not your husband, not your cousins, sisters, brothers, parents, grandparents, right? You got to take care of you first, right? But obviously, if you got a kid, take care of that kid and love them. Anyways, we got some more comments here from Shelby Ann Tilker. She says, the quiet ones are the ones to never worry about. The ones that act out are worrisome. She says, love my son. I'd do anything for him. See, I don't understand that bond. I don't have a child myself, but I've heard about it. You know what I mean? I can understand it. I could relate to what you're saying. There's certain areas where it's like, I can't really relate. What am I saying? I don't have a kid. I don't know what it's like, but I bet it's amazing. And I bet, I know there's so much love that goes into raising a child, right? You don't just raise a child, right? There's a lot of love and caring and sacrifice that goes into that. So that's amazing. That's great. If you guys have any more questions regarding self-love, we're talking about self-love today and self-confidence, right? This is more or less anything. This is more about the relationship you have with yourself, because this is a time of year where a lot of people, they're thinking about other people, right? A lot of people, they're thinking about their family. Maybe they're thinking about their significant other. Maybe they're thinking about whatever. And this is a time where we tend to forget about ourselves. And so I'm just here to remind you that you exist. You got to take care of you first. And that's how you build confidence. And that's how you build self-love, is taking that time with you. It's like I was talking to Andrea and we were talking about Daya, my dog, her dog, Daya, the dog. Anyways, and we're talking about how the more time you spend with Daya on a walk, the more you take her for a walk, the more she recognizes you as a leader, the more you guys bond together, right? And so this is the same way it goes, I think, when you spend time alone. Like when I spend time alone and I really spend time with me, right? It's not like I'm spending time alone overthinking, thinking about other people or thinking about other situations, or I spend time alone thinking about me, focused on me. It recharges me, man. And then as soon as there's somebody else who comes into my life, who comes into interaction with me, it's like boom, like all of a sudden there's this energy, there's this chemistry, because I have this fire lit up within me, just ready to just go, like as soon as I see somebody. And so that's why every morning, this is, when it comes to self-love and self-confidence, guys, this is the foolproof system. This is just the foolproof system. I'm telling you guys, this will work for you if you are you're running a business, you have to get up really early to work on your business, or you have a job, you have to get up really early for your job, or even if it's your kid or you have kids and a family and you have to basically cook and clean and prepare for the family and everything, whatever, it doesn't matter. But this is what you do. If you want to build self-love and self-confidence, guys, the best way I've figured out and that I've seen in other people, like over and over and over again, people implementing this and just like enjoying it, loving it, making it happen. And it's as simple, guys, as setting a morning ritual. Like, it's really that simple. As you wake up at a specific time and you create a ritual. What is a ritual, right? A ritual is just a sequence of actions, of habits, of whatever that you're going to put together, and you're going to have this morning ritual that sets you up for the day. It primes you. It gets you ready for what's going to happen in the day. And so this will prime, you could prime yourself for self-confidence. You could prime yourself for self-love. You could prime yourself for passion. You could prime yourself for persistence, determination, drive, towards your goals, whatever it is. But when you take this time at the beginning of the day, I'm telling you, it's like nothing else. Because first of all, I don't know about you guys, but it's not always easy to get out of bed, right? Nobody wants to wake up early. But when you actually do it, it's like something goes off. Maybe it's just science. Maybe it's some dopamine or some serotonin or any of that crazy stuff going on. But whatever it is you complete that task. You wake up early, you discipline yourself, and all of a sudden it gives you a win. It gives you a feeling of like, yes, I did this, like pride. I'm feeling good. Okay, yes, awesome. And then you go on with the next day or the next thing. Maybe the next thing you do is you make your bed. Right? There's another small win, okay? And every small win leads to confidence. Maybe the next thing you do is you drink a big glass of filtered water. You're like, okay, I'm going to get this delicious filtered water. I'm going to alkalize my body, and hydrate my system. Everything's going to feel good. I'm going to be, okay, boom, that's your next job. Then maybe now that you've done that, you go to the washroom, you brush your teeth, you clean your face, you do whatever you do, Maybe after that, you do yoga meditation, right? And you just keep on stacking these little wins on top of each other. And I'm not talking about overnight developing an amazing ritual. Sometimes it's as simple as, okay, tomorrow I'm going to wake up earlier and go for a walk, and that's going to be my morning ritual. And that's it. I don't want to think about exercise or meditation or visualization or all these other things that I could do, journaling. Like, there's so many things that you could do to improve your life. But which ones are you actually going to do? And we've got a comment here from Adam Ludolf, and he says, your mind is so powerful. What you feed it will determine your day. Self-love. And Adam, that's so true, man. I loved your TEDx talk. I loved, because Adam talked a lot about this in his talk. He reached a point in his life where he was struggling with self-love and self-confidence. Am I right, Adam? And so, he found that, what I remember from your talk, he found that, there's really two voices going on in your head. There's the good voice, the blue voice, or there's the bad voice, the red voice. And at the end of the day, you determine which voice you're going to feed. And what do you feed it? Right? You feed your attention. And so if you wake up early in the day, you don't even have to wake up early. Maybe you wake up at the same time, but you make a conscious decision to feed the good voice, to feed the mind and take it into the right direction for self-love. And let me tell you guys, there's a paradox, okay? There's a paradox that has blown my mind ever since I've learned about personal development, ever since I started reading books, ever since I got in this world. It's blown my mind. And this paradox is simple. It's the paradox between self-acceptance and self-growth. And what do I mean by that? Self-acceptance is like, okay, I love myself for everything that I am. I'm perfect exactly as I am. I don't need to change anything. God has created me in like the perfect image. Like, this is who I am. This is who I'm supposed to be. Boom. Perfect. Accepting myself, right? And then on the other spectrum, on the other side, it's, I'm not good enough. I can do better. I know I have more ability. I know I have the potential to do greater. So there's self-acceptance. You love and accept yourself for as you are, but you also recognize that you can do better. You also recognize that you have crazy amount of potential that you could tap into and that you could use. And so the trick here is like, you can't be self-accepting of yourself and then just be a lazy and just sit on your ass all day and do nothing, right? Okay, I accept you exactly as you are. You have permission to sit down and do nothing with your life. No, thank you. Like, that's not an exciting or fun life, right? But on the other hand, to constantly I fall under the category oftentimes of self-growth. And when I talk about that, excessive self-growth, where it's like, I push myself so much, I'm trying so hard to grow all the time, whereas I get to the point where I beat myself up, right? If maybe I have goals that I'm trying to accomplish, and if I don't get, if I don't make a certain amount of progress, I beat myself up over it. Instead of saying, it's okay, man, you could try again tomorrow. I know you could do better. I say, dude, what is wrong with you? What is wrong? Like, what? Right? And I beat myself up a little bit. And so that kind of person gets stressed out. That kind of person gets overwhelmed. That kind of person gets depressed because look, it will never be enough. The human potential, I truly believe, is unlimited. Think about it. Like every single day we defy the odds. Every single day somebody does something that changes the game for everybody else. Every single day a new technology comes out, a new world record is broken, whatever it is, right? Human potential, it's freaking crazy, right? And so there's never going to be an end, right? You're never going to reach the end of your potential. So it's like you're relying on self-growth to make you happy or to bring you confidence or to bring you self-love. If you're relying on that, it's never going to bring you the level of fulfillment and joy that you really want. You have to kind of at some way come back to self-acceptance. And that's where that paradox comes in play, where it's like you need both. You need to love and accept yourself for exactly as you are, but recognize that you can do so much better, that you have value that you can provide to other people, that you can provide to the world. And so I've gotten caught up in this trap, and I find a lot of people get caught up in this trap, and it's super common. It's super common because it's just like, it's funny because over in more of the European countries, even like India and stuff like that, and like the shamans, and they all tell you, it comes from within. You got to find peace within. It's all about self-acceptance. It's all about that area of things. But then you come to United States, America, Canada, some of the other richer European countries. It's all about growth. It's all about progress. It's all about productivity. It's like, man, you got to go, work. Then you'll be happy. Then you'll make it happen, right? And so it's so interesting how different cultures create different results and stuff, for example, too. But I truly believe, guys, finding both is the key. It's really the key. And so, sorry, I'm just going to take a second to drink some water. If you guys have any questions, please let me know your questions below. I'm all about confidence today, all about self-love, all about that kind of stuff. I always get comments on this, by the way. I always get comments on this like, what are you drinking out of? Is that a freaking urn? Like, yeah, this is legit 2 liters of reverse osmosis water. And I don't know how many of those I drink a day. A lot of water. So self-love and self-confidence. So talking about where we were getting at is the paradox between self-acceptance and self-growth. Kind of where things get tricky there is, we want to accept ourselves. And that's a huge key when it comes to self-love and confidence, right? Because if you're constantly in resistance with who you are, if you're constantly in resistance with like the way your body is, for example, I know so many people where it's like, I was born in this body, but I'm doing everything I can to resist it. I'm doing everything I can against it because like, I don't like this body. I don't want this. And right, that person suffers. That person, because it's like you're in your own prison. And then there's on the other spectrum, of course, the person who's never satisfied with their achievements, because you achieve all day and you're just never satisfied. You never get there. And so I found a good practice for both of these, because we're going to talk about both. You really need to utilize and get a hold of both. But self-love, let's start with self-love. I think for you guys, a good practice right now is to just, it's weird, but it works. Okay. Stand in front of the mirror. Just stand in front of the mirror. And you're going to set a timer for like, maybe it's like 20 minutes. Like, I'm serious. This is going to be a mirror meditation. You're just going to sit there in front of the mirror and stare into your eyes for 20 minutes. Maybe you're going to stare around. Maybe you're going to look at your nose. Maybe you're going to look at like the weird things on your face. Maybe you're going to look at like, how messed up your hair. But it doesn't matter. You're going to stare at yourself for 20 minutes. And if you really want to get intense about it, take your clothes off, get naked. Yeah. Now we're challenging you. Get naked, no clothes, stand in front of a mirror and just look at yourself and get acquainted. How often do people do this? How often do you sit there and just spend time with you? Right. And what this will do for you guys, it's powerful. It sounds a little weird, but look, at the end of the day, we're afraid of ourselves so many times, right? And if you could just sit there and look at yourself and take it all in, and that's such a huge, just learn to come and accept yourself for as you are. Learn to come to accept the fact that you're deteriorating, like your body is deteriorating by nature, right? You could do everything you can to get healthier, right? To live a happy, energetic life while you're here, but at some point this body will cease to exist. and just looking at it and just accepting it and taking in the beauty of what is you, of what this amazing thing that we have called the human body. I could touch it. I love it. Right. And taking that time to just sit and accept yourself for how you look and for who you are as a human being, right, on the outside. And that's just one step of it, guys. That's just one step. I'm talking about, because a lot of people, they're self-conscious about how they feel, how they look. And I think a lot of that comes from media, mainstream media telling you you're not good enough, you need this makeup. You're not good enough, you need this pill. You're not good enough, you need to buy this product. You're not good enough, you're not good enough, you're not good enough. What is that doing to you guys? It's tearing down your self-confidence, and it's tearing down your self-love and level of self-acceptance. And so by sitting there in front of the mirror and just realizing, like, boom, like, this is human. Like, this is me. Like, this is just it. And like, I got to come to accept it. But that's the thing. It doesn't mean that you can't do anything about it. It doesn't mean you can't, if you don't like the way you look, it doesn't mean you can't go to the gym and work out. If you don't like the way, if you don't have enough weight, doesn't mean you can't go to the grocery store and get some healthy veggies. Or if you have too much weight, doesn't mean you can't go to the grocery store and get some healthy veggies. I think, basically encouraging you to get veggies. I like veggies. And so that's such a powerful practice, guys. Meditation is really just a meditation that you're spending looking at yourself, looking into your eyes. And I'll tell you guys, one time I did this. I stared into my eyes for a good 20 minutes. And it just felt so amazing, because I had never really taken time to do that. I had never taken time to sit there and like look at the way my eye looks, or the way the wrinkles under my eyes look, or the way the freckles, or like the blackheads I have on my nose, or like the strange hairs coming from my eyes. Like, I never took time to sit there and just look at it and take in that beauty. And then as I was looking at myself, I was thinking about all the blood cells and the crazy anatomy, like the crazy biology that goes into creating something like this, right? We are the most amazing, complex technology on the planet. The human being. I don't care what computer, airplane, cell phone, right? We are the best technology. We are the most amazing creature on earth. It's just bottom line. The brain, everything, we're still trying to figure it out. We're still studying ourselves, right? And we just still don't have it figured out. We're still like arguing and complaining and debating over what's going on here. And so it's amazing. So that's a great tip. Another thing I think is really important, I got this from my brother, and I've never tried it. Let me give you a caveat. I've never tried it, but my brother, I love my brother. I trust a lot of the things he says, and he says this is a great practice. So a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, he was really into this thing where he would meditate for 2 hours a day. And like, that's intense, guys. Try sitting there in the dark in a meditation pose, or laying down, or whatever. Laying down is probably not the right way, because you'll probably fall asleep. But spending 2 hours in a dark room with nothing but your thoughts. So now you don't have the eye stimulation. You're not looking at yourself. This is time where you just have to sit there and think about yourself. And maybe it's not there you're thinking about yourself, but you take time to meditate and sit in your thoughts. And it gives you self-awareness and realization of what's actually going on in here. Right? Because think about it, guys. How often do we actually take time to sit and think about what we're thinking about? Because there's always a cell phone, right? If you get bored, if you're sitting in line at the grocery store, you're bored, pull out your phone. Oh, there's Facebook. Oh, there's stimulation. Oh, I got to take a crap. Okay, let me take, stimulation. Always stimulated. And we're always distracting ourselves. We don't give ourselves time to stop for a freaking second and think about what we're thinking about. Yes, I said that correctly. Think about what you're thinking about. It's like a matter, you take a step back from you, out of your ego, out of who you are, and think, okay, what kind of thoughts are passing through my mind right now? What's going on in here? And that's such a crazy practice. I've not done this 2-hour meditation. I think the longest meditation I've done is maybe like an hour and a half. And it was crazy. It was awesome. But, I've heard this from my brother. He said, dude, sit there for 2 hours. It's like, you'll be surprised the things you find out about yourself. You'll find out the truth about maybe certain ways that you've been lying to yourself. You know how much we lie to ourselves, and we don't actually, we never admit it, or we never come to grips with it. We lie to ourselves all the time. And I think when you're sitting there in meditation, whether it's a 20-minute meditation on a daily basis, or it's a 2-hour meditation that you're just doing out of nowhere, it gives you time to think about, have I been honest with myself? What are some of the stories I've been telling myself? What are some of the thoughts that come in my head? Then you have time to evaluate that stuff and wait, does that make any sense? Is that real? Should I continue believing that? Oh no, is it bullshit? Okay, perfect. Let's throw it out and, start anew. Let's create a new thought. Let's create a new belief. Let's go in a new direction. And so many people just don't have confidence. They don't have self-love because they never take time to sit with self. They never take time for self. Notice self-love, self-confidence, right? Self-improvement, self-growth, self-help. It's all self. And sometimes we think the answer is to go on Google and find it. Oh, I'm just not feeling confident right now. I just don't feel passionate. I'm scared. I'm afraid. Let me go to my phone. Maybe my phone has the answer. Maybe take a second to stop and look within for the answer, because I'm telling you, it is there. What we are capable of, what we have in here is amazing. And there's just so much going on out there. Media, stimulation, technology, society, government. There's so many things going on that are trying to suppress you and distract you from the power that you actually have in here and in here and over here. And like, it's insane. So I could go on for days and days. Beverly Risdale says heart. Right back at you, Beverly. Right back at you. Yeah, so let's talk about, that's a ton on self-love and self-acceptance. I want to talk a little bit about self-improvement, which is the other end of the spectrum, right? We love ourselves, we accept ourselves for as we are, but we're not going to let that stop us from taking action on a consistent basis to get to where we want to go, to achieve our dreams, to go more. Because look, it doesn't matter who you are, what career you have, how much you've achieved, what you do in life, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. None of us are happy, truly freaking happy and fulfilled until we grow, until we make progress, until we achieve a goal, until we challenge ourselves and realize that we're capable more of that we're actually capable of. Do you understand? Like, oftentimes we just kind of accept, like, oh, for example, if I were to ask you, hey man, let's go run a 5K. And you're just like, you take a second to look in your past and be like, I've never done that before. I don't think I could do that. Oh, come back. I can't do that. Why not? I've never done that before. Okay, well, why are you looking to your past to figure out what you can do for the future? Like, you've never tried it, right? You're setting yourself up. You're limiting yourself based on your past. Meanwhile, like, you could do amazing things. Oh, I can rant for days, guys. Okay, Adam has a comment here. He says, Ashley and I started putting our phones away at 8 p.m. It's incredible what is done to our psyche and our relationship. Man, that's huge. And there's a lot that goes into that, not only for the distraction and stimulation part where it's constantly notifying you and distracting you, but also there's waves, Wi-Fi waves, Bluetooth waves, radio waves that are kind of coming from your phone, and they're messing with you. And the blue light on your phone, literally, it messes with your eyes. And so what happens there is you can't produce melatonin anymore because your brain thinks that this blue light is the same light as the light coming from the sun. And so when your brain sees the light from the sun, it deactivates melatonin, because melatonin puts you to sleep. You're not supposed to be asleep right now. It's light out. So anybody who's, I'm laying in bed at 2 a.m. or whatever, checking my phone, and I got the light in my eyes right here, you're literally shutting off melatonin from your life, which is making you sleep worse. Just so many things. So there's a bunch of ways to counteract that. Just try doing what Adam and Ashley do and just turn off your phone at a certain time and just like back away from it. Other people, they wear glasses that block the blue light, or there's apps on your phone and on your computer that cut out the blue light. So there's so many ways you can get around it. It's really cool. Let's try to, if there's any more questions, let me know, because we're going to be tuning down here soon. So I was talking about self-improvement and self-growth and different areas, different ways that you could do that. Because like I was saying, the why here is why, because you'll never be happy if you don't grow. I don't care how much you accept yourself, right? Like, you could accept yourself for days, but if you don't grow in some way, if you don't challenge yourself, like human beings, nature, like we're meant to grow. If we're not growing, contributing, adding something to the universe, then the universe is going to take us out and replace it with something that will add to the universe, even if it's like dust from your body, right? Like, the universe is crazy like that. Like, if you don't use it, you lose it, like the laws. And so when it comes to self-improvement, guys, self-confidence and self-love, I just want you to start small, because I know in my life, every time I get excited about something and I want to take on a new project, or I want to take on something new, I'm just freaking pumped. And what happens is I get so pumped up about it, and I get so excited, and I start working on it a little bit, and I'm like, oh, this is really cool. And then I take on more, and I take on more, and I take on more, and then I take on so much work that I'm burnt out, that I can't do it. that I'll start to, criticize myself or beat myself up because I've set myself up for failure, which so many people do. And that's why they don't have self-love or self-confidence, guys. You set yourself up for failure sometimes. Admit it, right? I do it all the time, where it's like, okay, I'm going to wake up at this time. I'm going to exercise for 5 hours and I'm going to like eat this perfect healthy meal. And then I'm going to discipline myself to, make 1 million phone calls. And then I'm going to play my guitar for another like 20 hours. And then I'm going to do this and this and this. And then boom, you created an impossible to-do list, impossible expectations that no matter what, you're going to fail. And so guys, if you just start small and saying like, I'm going to wake up and like walk for 2 seconds and then come home, and then tomorrow I'm going to wake up and walk for 5 seconds, and then I'm going to walk for a minute, and then I'm going to walk for 2 minutes, and just gradually improving yourself. I cannot tell you what it does to your self-confidence and growth and love. So we got some comments here from Napatu and Flax. Hello hi. We're actually just tuning out. I'd like to thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. Again, you guys could see my passion. I'm sure I just get so into this. These are ideas that have completely revolutionized and changed my life. Like bottom line, if it weren't for the things that I've done, if it weren't for the things that I've tried, if it weren't for the experiments I've done, the way I've committed myself, the sacrifices I made, I wouldn't be who I am today. And so that's why it's so important for me to share this kind of stuff, because I know it's changed my life. This is stuff that I wish I would have been taught in school, but I wasn't, right? And so it's my obligation, it's my duty, it's my mission in life to share this with you guys. Whether it be through this podcast, whether it be through the books I write, whether it be through the music I perform, whatever it is, I just want to empower you guys and help you realize like you got it made. Like this is awesome. Anyways, we got one final comment here from Shelby Ann Tilker. She says, middle of the night, I lay there, and if that fails, I send a message to you and fall asleep waiting on a reply. Peace, Home Slice. Peace, Shelby. Such a great friend. You guys are amazing. If you guys want to support what we're doing, you guys know what you could do. You could go to iTunes and leave a review for us. Hey, if you hated the show, please leave a review. Hey, if you loved the show, please leave a review. Yeah, and it'll help us get on the new and noteworthy. It'll help us get out there and reach more people with our message. So that's really exciting. Also, if you guys want your own rewards, if you guys want some prizes, go to patreon.com/implicit, where we offer all sorts of cool things. You get a new book every month. You get some tickets to a show. You get some... goes on and on and on. Anyways, thank you guys so much for everything you are, for everything you do. I'm Bren Dubé. On behalf of Implicit, peace.